Hello everyone, it's Heidi and welcome to this week's episode of Baby Names Sunday. Today I am doing a surprise collaboration video with LILIA. Again, I've been waiting to do an Irish names list. So LILIA is from Ireland, so I thought this was just so perfect. She's also a namer over on Instagram, so you guys gotta check her out. I'll have all the links down in the description. She has just such amazing, very soft names for both boys and girls that are so incredibly unique. So please go check her out. And obviously, thank you LILIA for collaborating with me on this wonderful, uncommon, and some trendy Irish names. Now in this corner here, I will have the name. I'll also have an anglicized variation of the name, so it's a little bit more easier spelt in other parts other than Ireland, because they do have a little bit of a different alphabet. All right, let's get into this amazing Irish baby names list for both boys and girls. I have a ton of options to share with you, so let's get into it. So to start this list off, guys, I am pumped. I'm so excited. All right, we're gonna start off with a boy's name. So I have the name Ollie, spelled A-U-L-E-Y. Ollie. Now this one means descendant, and it's a name which is derived from a traditional surname over in Ireland. I love this spelling particularly because it's almost like Ollie over here, O-L-L-I-E. So a great alternative, and it's the very first time that it's on the charts in the 5,000. So I think this is so great and so usable all around. Moving over to the girl side, I have the name Nula, spelled N-U-A-L-A. Nula. This name means fair, and in Irish legend, Nula was the wife of the king of the fairies, and his name was King Finvara, which I really hope I'm pronouncing that one right. So gorgeous. I love how it has this kind of whimsical sound to it. And again, this one's also first time on the charts for the girl side in the 11,000s. Next up, on the boy side, we have my favorite name here. I have the name Cullen, spelled C-U-L-L-E-N, Cullen. I am so in love with this name, especially for this upcoming fall, autumn, winter season. I think it just speaks this time of year for a little boy. I can really see this actually making its way to a genderless option, but this one actually means holly tree. I love it. Right now it's rising on the boy side, but not so much on the girl side. So this could be a really boy's name for girls that transitions in the future. I have the name Tierney, spelled T-I-E-R-N-E-Y, Tierney. I love this one as well for the girls. This one means descendant of the Lord, and it's traditionally an Irish surname. We are now going a little bit vintage on the boy side. One of my faves, I love the name Clancy, so C-L-A-N-C-Y, Clancy. Now this one means redhead warrior, and it's one of the original crossovers for Irish surnames making their way over to a first name. One of the very first ones, and then a bunch of others followed. Love this, such a great timeless vintage choice. Now on the girl side, I have the name Quiva or Kiva, spelled C-A-O-I-M-H-E. Now for this one, there's a few different pronunciations over in Ireland depending on where you are. It's actually quite a trendy option for the girl side, and it means dear and noble. Now this one, in some areas in Ireland, it's pronounced as Kiva, like K-E-E-V-A, Kiva. So that could be a really great English spelling for those who are outside of Ireland. Next up on the boy side, this one is so handsome sounding, and it has a lot of kind of Irish heritage behind it. So this is the name Malone, spelled M-A-L-O-N-E, Malone. Now this one means descendant, and in Dublin they actually have almost like an anthem or a theme song in a way for the city, and it's called Molly Malone. So the name is very rich in Irish heritage, which we absolutely loved, and it's sitting for both boys and for girls in the 9,000s for boys and 6,000s for girls. Swinging back over to the girls side, I have the name Rhianna or Rhianna, spelled R-I-O-N-A. This one is so beautiful. It means queenly. I love this spelling, and it reminds me of like rain, R-E-I-G-N, for like boys and girls, and it's sitting in the 6,000. So I think this is a really kind of unique if you want that kind of royal and regal sound. Then we have more of a genderless option here that could go for both boys and for girls, and this is the name Daly, spelled D-A-L-Y, Daly. Now this one means gather together, and it's derived from the surname Dalek, which I hope I'm pronouncing right. It means one who is present at assemblies. So this one is both unranked for boys and girls, has been since 2018, and I love how short and sweet it sounds, especially with like shorter names trending recently. The next girl's name we chose for the list here, we have the name Anya, spelled A-I-N-E. Anya. Now this one is seen a little bit more frequently than a lot of the others, and that's because it is just so gorgeous. Again, just like many of the other girl names on this list, it's really of Irish favorite for over on the girl side, and it means radiance. This is also the Irish version of Anne, which could be a great honorary name, and it was the name of the Irish Celtic goddess of wealth and summer. All right, switching it up here over onto the boy side. Love this one. It's the name Senan, spelled S-E-N-A-N, Senan. It means brightness, and Senan was the name of an ancient founder of monasteries, so very popular in Ireland. Love this one. Again, it's still really uncommon over here in the US or in Canada. It's ranking in the 5,000s, but really handsome spelling, Senan. Back over onto the girl side, one of my favorites on this list. I love it. It's the name Decla, spelled D-E-C-L-A, Decla. It's almost like the feminine variation of Declan for boys, Decla for girls. I really love this, and it's actually a saintly name, which is completely unranked. Speaking of saints and maybe gods, we have the Irish god name Lear, spelled L-I-R, and the I has a fada on it. This is one of mine and Lilia's favorite boy names. Oh, we absolutely love it. It's the Irish god of the sea, and guys, it is completely unranked and has been since 2020. I think it was a one-hit wonder in 2020, which we are so shocked of. So if you're wanting like a mythological godly name, loving the sea, something to do with the water, Lear, such a handsome choice for you. Then speaking of Lear, we had to add the name Fenella, spelled F-E-N-E-L-L-A, Fenella. So this name means fair-shouldered, but Fenella first became known outside of Ireland in actually a novel. And Finola, which is another underused anglicized variation of the name, or Fionnuala, so in Irish legend, was actually one of the 4 children of Lear, which we just talked about, the Irish god of the sea, who were transformed into swans for a period of 900 years. So we thought that kind of myth behind the name, it has so much history and has this kind of like fairy tale whimsical sound to it. Very, very cutesy, girly, so we had to add that one on the list. Next girl's name on our list here, we have the name Mirin, spelled M-I-R-R-E-N, Mirin. So this one is thought to come from the name Mary, so this one means drop of the sea, but also wish for a beloved child. This one is the first time it's on the charts in the 11,000s right now. I love the softness to it, Mirin. Then for something familiar in sound, we have the name Brannon, spelled B-R-A-N-N-O-N, Brannon. Almost like an alternative to like Brandon, and this one also actually means descendant, and this one was also traditionally an Irish surname. A lot of our boys' names on our list here are that traditionally a surname that's made its way over to that first name basis. Time for a really soft and sweet sounding name. We have the name Era, spelled E-I-R-E, Era. So this one means from the West Island, but this is also the Irish word for Ireland. So this is so perfect to be on this list, literally. So it has this place inspiration from the West Island, has kind of like this nature feel to it as well. And it's been unranked since 2018. So I think with like Aura, Era, they have this kind of similar sound to both of them. Very soft, but very girly. Then we were speaking soft and girly. Now for the boy side, we have very like masculine and handsome manly. We have the name Conlan, spelled C-O-N-L-A-N, Conlan. This name literally means hero, and Conlan with the O-N ending is actually an Irish family name, and the Gaelic spelling is kind of like in full, full Conlan. So a much more longer variation, but they've trimmed it down to Conlan. And it implies that one born with this name has the characteristics of a lion and a hound. So very powerful, really courageous. There's so many great symbolisms behind lions and hounds. There's strength and there's also speed. An E name on the girl side, we have the name Eilish, spelled E-I-L-I-S. Eilish. Now this one means pledge to God and is an Irish variant from the name Elizabeth. It almost reminds me of Isla as well, or Eily, so it could really fall into those trendy name categories, but this one obviously is unranked for you guys. We are making our way down the list here. We had about 40 names on here, so we are gonna keep going. Next one, I have the name Rosha, spelled R-O with a fada, I-S-E, Rosha. There is another spelling for this one, Rosha, with a S-I-N ending. It has a little bit of a different pronunciation, but this one's actually the more modern version right now, and it means little flower. It's really up and coming over in Ireland, but still completely unranked. Now, to switch things up here, this next boy's name sounds very romantic, really handsome. It's the name Quill, spelled Q-U-I-L-L. Quill. Now this one means writer, but traditionally a surname over in Ireland, which over time became the surname Wood. So originally it was Quill, and then it's made its way over to the surname Woods, and now Quill is a first name basis over in Ireland, which I thought was so interesting. It's actually a genderless option, so it's ranking for both boys and for girls, but a lot more boys are being named it this time around and rising on those charts. Another boy's option here that we have for you is the name Niles, spelled N-I-L-E-S, Niles. Now this one means passionate champion, and it's a lovely alternative to the name Neil, N-I-A-L-L, which is another great Irish option. So this one is ranking in the 2000s, so it's a little bit more trendier than some of the other boy names on the list. Love this one, Niles. It's just like that kind of like Miles, Nils. You have Niles to throw in there. It's like a combo of both. On the girl side, we have the name Ashlang, spelled A-I-S-L-I-N-G, Ashlang, and this means dream or vision. This is also quite a trendy option over in Ireland right now for girls. In general, has always been very classic, and a little bit of history with the name. It refers to a poetic genre that developed in Irish poetry during the 17th and 18th centuries. So it has been a name for the girl side, almost like timeless, classic, vintage, that's been around for so long. Next on the boy side, a really cool option here is the name Tauren, so T-O-R-R-I-N, Tauren. I love the sound of this with the T. It means little hill, so it has a little bit of a nature vibe to it. Then, speaking of nature, we're going into animal inspiration here. We have the name Madigan, spelled M-A-D-I-G-A-N, Madigan. I have always loved this name for a girl, Madigan. I think it's so cool, and it means little wolf. So maybe, possibly, if you're having a baby, little baby girl in October, we thought this one was a perfect option for you. Then for something completely different on the girl side here that has such a fun sound to it, it's the name Bonva or Bonba, spelled B-N-A-B-H-A. Bonba. Now this is one of the earliest Irish goddess names, so really, like, if you're wanting a name with tons of Irish history, like, this is so fun. Has like this almost like a Betty or like a Dottie, like this kind of peppy sound to it, and it's completely unranked. Moving on back over to the boy side, we have the name Callan, spelled C-A-L-L-A-N, Callan. This one has been one of my favorites as of the past couple months here. I've been kind of mentioning it here and there, but I had to add it again because it needs to be heard more. It means from the rocks, and it's actually a very popular name over in Scotland. So that is something that's so interesting. It's actually within the 500s on the boy side in the US right now, which was like, what? And it's rising on the girl side in the 3000s. Moving down the list here, on the girl side, we have the name Alva, spelled A-I-L-B-H-E, Alva. Now this one means fair, noble, and bright. And in Irish legend, this was actually the name of one of the female warriors of the Fianna. Also an early saint name in Ireland. So this is beautiful, goddess name, a saint name. It's actually up a lot of spots. I think it was over 5,000 spots from 2020 to 2021, and now it's in the 3,000. So I'm very interested to see how far up the list Alva is in 2022. Another softie, but over on the girls' side, we have the name Cara or Cara, spelled C-A-R-A. Cara or Cara, depending on which way you want to go. It means friend, and this is literally the Irish word for a friend. It's kind of reminds me of like Cora, Clara. It falls right into that kind of vintage category. All right, so before we were talking about Bamba or Bamfa, this one has this kind of peppy, dotty, lottie, kind of that vintage peppy feel. This is the name Biddy, spelled B-I-D-D-Y. Biddy. This one means high one or strong, and it was once a very common Irish diminutive of Bridget. So a really fun honorary name for any Bridgets that you might have in your family, your little baby girl, Biddy. Back over onto the boys' side, we have the name Arda. I love the ending with that ending for a boy. It's very hard to come by. Like right away I think of Ezra, but this is Arda, and it's spelled A-R-D-A-G-H, Arda. So it means from the high field, and this one has also been traditionally known as a surname that's made its way over to a first name basis. It is uncommon, unranked, so some little boys need to snatch this one up. Speaking of soft again, but on the girl side, we have the name Meira, spelled M-A-I-R-A, Meira. Isn't that beautiful? It means the moon, so it's a celestial name, but it's also a Hebrew name meaning from the sea. So you have the moon, celestial aspects of the sky, but you also have the sea, the nature, earthy kind of vibes to it too. We have a name on the boy side here, actually could be used on the girl side as well, is the name Dara. So D-A-R-R-A-G-H, Dara. Now this one means from the oak tree, so it is a tree name. It is traditionally known as a male's name over in Ireland, but now has made its way over to the girl's side and spelled D-A-R-A, like Dara. Next up, another regal sounding name, we have the name Tula, spelled T-U-A-T-H-L-A, Tula. It means princess of the people. Absolutely stunning. Oh, this is also one of my favorites on our list. Another vintagey sounding option, guys. We have so many that has that, like I said, dotty, lottie, that kind of fun, peppy vintage feel. This is the name Bridie, spelled B-R-I-D-I-E, Bridie. It means exalted one, and it's derived from actually a goddess name, so it's the mythological Celtic goddess of fire and poetry. Few more names here left on the list. This one's a boy's name. It's the name Desi or Desi, spelled D-E-S-S-Y. This is actually Lilia's uncle's name or great uncle's name, one of her uncles. I thought it was so sweet because it's a family name. It means from Munster, which is a place in Ireland. I love this as a really cool alternative spelling, D-E-S-S-Y. Loving that. For a girl's name here, we have the name Alicia, so L-A-O-I-S-E, Alicia. This one means radiant girl, so it has a very bright omen about her. And this name also has goddess ties, as it has ties to the Irish goddess of light. So very beautiful, very illuminating for a little girl. Two more names here left on the list. Another girl's name, we have the name Cloda, spelled C-L-O-D-A-G-H, Cloda. Now this one means cloudy river, which is so cool. I love the nature elements to this. It's actually a name of a river in Ireland that runs through the county of Waterford. So it's kind of like a river name over in Ireland, kind of like a place name as well. Then that brings us to our very final name on our collab, Irish collab list, and it's another family name in Lilia's family. This is another great uncle's name, and his name is Enda, spelled E-N-D-A. Enda. Now this one means bird, and it symbolizes a free spirit for a little boy, Enda. I'm really loving how in Ireland they have a lot of soft boys names. It's really like hot or cold. It's either like really soft and sweet with those ending names, or it's like Conlan, very like tough, handsome, manly sounding with a very powerful meaning. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let us know which ones your favorites are in the comments below. Make sure you guys go check LILIA out over on Instagram. Honestly, she is such an inspiration for all things baby names. She's so great. She has so many unique options on her list. Definitely different ones from my own page. It's just such a breath of fresh air watching her page and seeing all the new names she comes up with. Lots of hidden gems over there. So thank you, LILIA, for collaborating with me on this lovely Irish names list. If you guys have any other list ideas that you guys would like me to do in the future, leave them in the comments below. I will definitely get to them, especially moving on into that fall wintry season. Again, take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys next Sunday with another baby names list. Bye!